Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from whatever part of the world you are tuning in from. My name is Tracy Nauber, and I am your English expert for the IELTS exam. Now, I'm a postgraduate student at the School of Education in Trinity Western University in Canada. I'm currently en route to a PhD in English, and my academic training is on TESOL, so that's teaching English to speakers of other languages, just like you. I used to mark the IELTS exam at the British Council, and my daily nuggets are designed to help you find out some of the things that I feel candidates for. Basically, I'm trying to give you the secrets to help you ace your IELTS exam. Now, we're going to focus on the listening module this morning. I'd like to mention that when you get into an examination setting, the worst thing you can do to yourself is to be so nervous that you are unable to calm down and hear out every single thing that is going on around you. I failed a lot of candidates for misspelling words, and you can tell normally because of the number of scripts I would mark. For each examination, I would mark about 200 scripts. Sometimes I would be doing them per day or per week, depending on depending on how many students had sat for the exams on that particular week. And on the average, a lot of people who would ordinarily have high band scores of 8 or maybe even 9, I would fail them for things for as little as misspelling words. And these are common words that we encounter every day. So they would misspell words like separated. Now, in the Nigerian context, we often transfer the intonation and the spelling, the way we would intone words in the Nigerian context is the same way that we generally write them. So you have someone who is trying to spell a word like separated, and they are spelling it like separated. That's S-E-P-E-R-A-T-E-D. Meanwhile, in English language, you are actually spelling it as separated, but you are pronouncing it as separated. So each time I would encounter that, I had to fail you, because what the listening module does is we're trying to assess how you are paying attention to, number one, the person who is talking to you, and second of all, that you understand the accent of the person who is talking to you. So different countries and different cultures, once they take on English as a second language, because English is such a common language now, they generally would always import some of the linguistic tendencies in their native language into the English language. And this is exactly what the Nigerian would do by spelling it as separated instead of spelling it as separated. So you want to watch out for things like that. And I also recall, because I had to write the IELTS a couple of times before I became a marker at the British Council. And aside that, every other quarter, they'll make us write the exams to be sure that we were keeping up to par with the quality of the kind of marking that we were doing. And now, each time that I wrote it, I couldn't but help notice there were candidates around me who were so nervous, like really fidgety and stuff. And when you are in that state of mind, it is difficult for you to remember how to spell even the most common words. Words that also had problems with diarrhea. So a lot of people would miss out one R, or they will put E and O, like mix it up back and forth. And they look the same, but because I'm trained as an IELTS marker, I am able to see where you've made your error. So imagine you have 40 questions in the listening section, and you were supposed to listen out to a conversation going on in one of the popular accents of the world, so either Canadian English, American English, British English, or Aussie English, Australian English. And then you are not relaxed. So if you're not relaxed, you cannot hear when someone is trying to give you a conversation that involves the word separated, the word diarrhea. Another word people misspelled was the word acclaim. So instead of using, some people would remove one C instead of using double C because it's spelled A-C-C-L-A-I-M. Some people will put the I before the A. And you can tell that this candidate is clearly nervous, because on a normal day, he or she can sit down, be calm enough to spell these words properly. Another word a lot of people misspelled was beginning. So for beginning, you are spelling it, this is the correct version, B-E-G-I, double N, ing. So a lot of people would put it as one N instead of double N. That was a very common mistake that I spotted under the listening module. I spotted that one. I spotted words like, what was it called now? There were words like pursue. There are a lot of people who misspelled pursue. They would put the E before the U or do it vice versa. There were a lot of people who misspelled the word analytical. A lot of people misspelled that. They would put I instead of Y. So common mistakes like this, I feel, having marked the examination, that the best way for you to spell words properly is to first of all relax. Like, I cannot say that enough. Your brain can already do the job. You just need to trust it. And when you relax, you are able to hear out the conversation properly because you do not get a replay in the exam hall. It's played once. You have to listen out for that conversation. And we would usually give candidates the opportunity to take notes during the listening section. And at the end of listening to the video, at the end of listening to the audio, then you had the time to shift your answers from your like rough work, your question paper into your examination answer scripts. So use that period that you have while you're listening to first of all calm down. You need to be calm. If you are not calm, you will not hear clearly what's being said. Once you have calmed down and you are listening in for it, then you use your time to write your answers in your examination script, and make sure that you're trying to be quick about it, because it's one thing to listen calmly, it's another thing to be able to put down your questions, to be able to put down your answers so that your marker, i.e. me, is able to see what you have heard from that conversation. Aside that, you also want to be able to listen out clearly for different types of conversations in different kinds of English accents. I'm going to do a video and a session about navigating various English accents, because I think that that's a really important one. Everybody needs to be able to hear English depending on what context and what intonation that it's being used. And in this case, I believe that constant exposure to an accent will help you listen out clearly and properly for when you do hear it in an examination setting like the IELTS. So after you have listened and you have your scripts down, do not transfer your answers until you have been given the time to do that. Try not to put your answers in your answer sheet while you are listening to the conversation. What you want to do is to zone out your brain and focus on every single thing that is being said at that time. Once you have pulled that out in your examination scripts, then afterwards you can transfer. Once you make the transference, you must remember to read over your work. I cannot stress it enough. I feel that some of the candidates that I had to fail for misspelling very common words, I failed them because they did not take the time out to go over their work. Because if they went through it and they went through it with a calm mind, they would have seen the errors and how they misspelled diarrhea by missing out an R, or by moving O and E from the behind to the front. They would have seen how they misspelled separated by putting E instead of A, where you have the pa intonations, the pa phonetic sound. They would have seen how they misspelled acclaim by missing out one C, or by not putting a C at all. There was that. And then they would have seen how they misspelled the word beginning by missing an N in a very critical place where it should have been. So imagine that you have 40 answers and 10 of them were failed by a marker like me because you could not calm down enough to spell the words properly. So I hope that you have enjoyed this session and it was very insightful. I will be doing this daily, once every day, so that I can help you to understand some of the common mistakes that people made while they wrote the IELTS exams as I marked it. Stay tuned and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now, and thank you for tuning in. Hey, don't forget to follow us on all social media. We are English Expert for IELTS in everywhere. So please follow us, and thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.